I try and work in play, but I don't actively use that as a word. Like I'll basically like build in a game or build in an educational way that you are playing, because that's literally the best way to learn, and really working with ways that people are doing things that typically fall into play. How are they changing the way they move their body, right? Like if you move through the world in one way and then all of a sudden you go into this space where like you have to crawl underneath something, or if you have to like reach on top of something, like all of a sudden you're changing the way your body is moving, and that's play.
Beautiful messes? Oh, we love beautiful messes.
Greetings from Confetti Land, home of the Confetti Bar. I'm Jessica, founder and confetti artist.
And I'm Alexis, head of happiness. Join us here in this magical, colorful place where we
have fun,
feel feelings,
and encourage you to embrace your unique version of happiness and all of its beautiful, messy pieces.
We are so excited to have you join us.
All right, pack your glitter and imagination, friends, because today we're diving into a world where strategy meets sparkle and design meets delight with Morgan First. Morgan is a master of turning ordinary moments into extraordinary, immersive experiences. With a background spanning over 2 decades in marketing, events, and creative leadership, she's all about human-centered design, big doses of play, and crafting those magical interactions where everyone walks away smiling. Welcome to Confetti Land, Morgan.
Thank you. Man, guys, that was an amazing intro. I'm like, I just had to rewrite my bio, and I'm like, I think I'm going to have to steal that from you and
send it to you. Happy to help.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you here.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here. Yay. I'm happy the timing worked out. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely timing kismet for sure. Well, one of the first things that we like to do with all of our visitors to Confetti Land is we have a couple of warm-up questions before we dive into the bulk of our combo. So the first thing is, what does confetti mean to you?
Oh, I like that one a lot. I think you guys know I'm really good friends with Yelena of the Confetti Project too. Mm-hmm. And I really like how both you guys and Yelena talk about the messiness. And I think what's funny is like, I regularly have confetti in my apartment all the time. And so I think I forget that people think that it's messy. I'm like, what do you mean? It's colorful and great. But I love this idea of embracing the mess, and leaning into that. And I love the metaphor of the confetti, that as you play with it, from when it's tightly packed, that it expands and takes up more space. So just being this expansive, celebratory, it's okay to make a mess, which I think also is saying it's okay to play and it's okay to not be right, which I think is huge in life. Yeah.
Yes, we love Yelena, and we obviously have very similar confetti.
Oh, it's all the good people like confetti, right?
Yes, obviously.
You are in the right place here. Okay. Next question is, what would currently make up the confetti mix of your life?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. I think it's it's friends, and family, and kind of the fun projects that I'm working on. Cause I feel like confetti, sometimes shoots out at you and you're like, oh, whoa, that. Okay. So it's oh, that exciting project, or oh, that's kind of stressful, but that's kind of fun. And then I put a lot of, I've moved a lot over the last few years, but I put a lot of energy into my apartment. And so just I feel like that's something that is bringing me joy and adding little confetti sparkles. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good mix.
All the good things.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
All right. So before we kind of dive into some of the fun stuff about experiences and play, let's just start at the beginning, kind of the origin story. When did you realize you wanted to design experiences? Tell us a little bit about kind of your career path, yourself, how it all began.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I think that usually I start the story of like how it all began in college, but I think usually people ask me more like specifically about building experiences and less about like play and like kind of like what kind of person I am and how that led to what I do. And it's just a story I've been told because I was like 3 and my mom tells me the story, but she tells me the story of in preschool, I used to show up every day and I would like kind of gather, like you'd get there in the morning and I would like gather the kids around my little cubby and be like, okay, what did you bring? What did you bring? What did you bring? And then I'd be like, okay, cool. Based on those things, like, here's what we're going to do today. Yes. And I think that like, you know, I love building experiences, but I think that it's because I love like finding out what are like the superpowers or like things that make people like sparkle and be excited and like bring them to life. And then I love figuring out like how do you build, whether it's like a small event and a dinner party at your house with 10 or 15 people and they're interacting, or it's like a huge room of people and how are you figuring out a way to make that huge room of people like, you know, whether it's a wine tasting, like have a really fun time learning about wine, or whether it's like, you know, a huge ticketed Barbie experience and you just want to create this like beautiful playland for them. It's really like goes back to that, like, okay, what did you bring? And like, what do you want to play today? And like, okay, like I'll make a plan for that. Yeah.
I love that. Started from the very beginning.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So then can you just take us through, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll take you past 3.
Okay, let's skip forward a little bit.
Yeah. So I feel like I always say an important part of my life story was I was the editor-in-chief of my high school yearbook, which I feel like really solidified my like love of a brand and like love of a color palette. My senior year, I figured out that we could pick as many spot colors as we wanted, which like I think someone should have just told me no, but thankfully they didn't. We had like 50 different spot colors in the book. But I think that really like set an undertone for my love of like product and pulling product together and understanding like, you know, yearbooks are a book specifically, but thinking about who are all the different roles that have to come together to make something, understanding moving things on a deadline and then a brand. And again, like building something that like everyone in the school when it came out was going to be like, yeah, we're so excited about this. Like you did such a good job. And then, so because of that, I was like convinced that I wanted to go to school for publishing, and I applied to all these different schools and ended up getting into a bunch, but ended up getting into Emerson College. And I got into a bunch of other schools, but like a little bit of an OCD crazy person, I actually planned my 4 years of college and what schedule I would be able to take all 4 years. And then I ended up picking Emerson because they had the least amount of requirements. And so I was going to get to take the most like magazine publishing and like all these crazy classes. And then at Emerson, they ended up opening an entrepreneurship plan and a make your own major. And so I went from publishing, which I kind of ditched because I'm low key dyslexic and I was like failing British Lit. And I was just like, okay, I want to work in magazines, but like, how do I get rid of this? And I made an original major that they were like, you just cut out British Lit and all the Lit classes. So I made a new one and they were like, okay, this will work. And then ended up graduating and like I had interned at some magazines when I was in college thinking like, oh, I'm going to work in a magazine. But during the entrepreneurship program came out with this Locals Guide to Boston that I then ended up launching as a company, got carried in Barnes & Noble, ended up running that company for 3 years. And during that company, I met my business partner who I've run companies with for the last 20 years, Tyler Ballier, at an entrepreneurship event with the city. And then basically Tyler was like, you know, kind of opened my eyes to the world of wine and wine events and was like, you know, the coolest thing about wine is then you get to travel all over the world to all these wine regions and like, and you get to meet all these cool different people, right? Like winemakers are interesting people, all the people around it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And Tyler had just started a wine magazine. And so I started helping with wine magazine and I had my publishing background. But kind of from college and all the other experiences, I had this event background that I was like, well, what if you started doing wine tastings? So we started doing small wine tastings for like 30 people. as like a launch party for the magazine. And then that turned into, we convinced a bunch of wine stores to let us do events in their basement, which convinced PR people that they wanted to hire us. So then we were doing 300 person events. And then there was a Boston wine festival called the Boston Wine Festival. And we went, and it was like, it was just boring, but it was boring because it was built for like a 65-year-old male. And we were walking around and we're like, there are a bunch of people that are younger and also aren't white dudes that would like to interact, but like everyone is treating them like, oh, you're just like a dumb young kid that's here. And so we're like, okay, well, why don't we make a wine event that's really fun for all of those, quote, dumb young kids? And we rented a venue in Boston and threw this huge wine tasting festival called Wine Riot. And we totally sold out the first one, which basically started me on a tear of like an 8-year company that I ran where we were throwing these amazing wine festivals across the country. Did that for 8 years. It expanded to like 6 cities and then kind of narrowed back down to like our 3 major cities, which were Boston, Chicago, and New York. And honestly, like, it was really fun, but it was so much work. And I was like starting to be in my late 20s. And I was just like, okay, I don't know if this is like the thing forever. And at that same time, we came up with an idea for a wine store. And so we ended up opening a wine store in Boston. We built out the most beautiful, I'd never built a space before, but I learned so much about building all of our Wine Riot pop-ups. Like we evolved from the very first one. We had like no money. So I was using like an architecture printer, and I found, like those diorama things that people have. There's like the flap in the middle. Yep. It was the cheapest because we were teaching people about wine. We're like, we're an education company. So we bought those things, chopped them in 4 and used an architecture printer. And like, those were our signs, right? Like we just didn't have any money. 2, like flash forward 8 years later, we have these huge 8x8 foot banners, and we've built all our own, and they're like beautiful graphics and like all this cool signage. And it was just really fun to see it evolve over the years. Okay, but trying to get through my story. So we did Wine Riot, and we opened this wine store, but then we opened the wine store and we had to go from this life of like traveling all the time to throw these wine tasting events to like, we got to travel to do wine tasting events, but otherwise we were like trapped in this store. And also the margins on a wine store, like, be nice to your wine store. Their margins are so thin. Like they're way worse than retail margins. They just are. And so then we were like, oh, okay, this was not the dream that we thought it was going to be. And so then I basically was like, all right, Boston, you're fine, but like I need a change of pace. So I moved to New York City, and just as I was moving there, I had a lot of friends who were like in the early days of WeWork who were like, oh, we're redoing our marketing department. Like, come work for WeWork. And I did that for like 6 months, and it was great. And I got to do a lot of fun WeWork things. But it was also the first time I like had a real job, and I didn't know like how to say where I should be in the ranking. And I just like, I probably could have been like 2 departments ahead if I had known that in my interview to know how to say that. But I learned so much because I'd never had a boss. I'd always been my own boss and like running these companies. And I had 3 different bosses in the 6 months I was there. I learned so much. I think I am such a better boss from that. So then basically after 6 months of WeWork, I was like, okay, that was fine. But like, I need to go do my own thing again. And I had been working on this idea for this space called Rosé Mansion the whole time. I was like, okay, we had that wine store, and like, I didn't like a wine store, but part of the thing we learned at the wine store was that what people really want from us is events. Like our event Wine Riot, like they loved that. But that was really hard because I could only do it in a weekend. And so at that time, it was like Museum of Ice Cream and Refinery 2929 Rooms and Color Factory. And I was like, I like did the revenue model based on like how we'd been doing in our events. And I was like, this makes way better money than what I was doing before. And we could actually be open. And instead of having to like build everything Friday morning, take everything down Saturday night, I could like have a space that's just open. That sounds awesome. And so then I basically again used like, now I've been building experiences chops, and was like, okay, let's find a space. We found this amazing it was a Charming Charlie formerly like a women's retail store.
Throwback.
On the corner of 39th and 5th, like right by Bryant Park. And we, it was called Rosé Mansion. And at the time, like millennial pink was really trendy, and everyone was talking about like Provence rosé, which is this really light rosé. But we were like, no, we want to teach people that like rosé is just wine made from the like red grape skin sitting for a little. So like we want to lean into that darker rosé, and the door was already pink. So we just like Pantone swatch matched the door, and we're like, cool, that's our logo color.
Done.
And the first one before we opened, like we wanted to put tickets on sale, but we didn't have any press photos. So I like literally hired a few friends and like a few like Instagram models that I messaged. And we had Daily Disco, who does the most amazing denim jackets. We had her do our Rosé Mansion logo on the back of a denim jacket. And we got like a cup, and we just like, I think there was an old dressing room. We took some photos in the old dressing room, and then we're like, okay, we have a space. Tickets are going to be on sale. And then I had like 60 days to build out the space. So built out the space, this like awesome 16,000 square foot space in like this tiny window. We were open for 4 months. It was amazing. We ended up closing after 4 months because it was only supposed to be a pop-up, and literally like the place was just falling apart because we built it only to be open for 4 months. We took another lease. We opened a 32,000 square foot version of Rosé Mansion. And then we were running that all the way up until the pandemic hit. And then we obviously had to close. And then basically Tyler and I had been working on this idea for a wine book, like for the last like 20 years. And so then and Tyler kept being like, I don't have time to write it. I don't have time to write it. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, hey, you know what you have time to do now? And it was really cool because I went to Emerson, and Emerson's a publishing school. And I looked in my LinkedIn messages, and like, there was one of my friends from college, like, hey, if you ever like have a book idea, I'm an agent now. Do you want to like chat? Shout out to Adriana. She's like the most amazing agent. And so she got us a deal. And so basically then Tyler wrote the book, and I really, really helped kind of like massage the text, and then I creative directed it. And so we found this amazing illustrator, Amber Day, and basically I would like draw bad crayon and fist drawings and also find inspo images and like, you know, be like, okay, Tyler, here's kind of how they should be together. Yeah. And sometimes Tyler would change or edit, and then we'd give it to Amber, and we created this beautiful color palette together, and basically made this beautiful book that has like 450 illustrations, which is way more than most wine books. We got nominated for a James Beard Award because of like the beautiful visuals of it. And then, okay, I swear I'm getting there all the time.
I love hearing this entire thing.
It's so good.
So as Tyler was writing the book and I was creative directing it, for a hot minute, I taught an online MBA, which was really fun because I was like, oh yeah, I basically like have an MBA. And I was like impressed at how easy it was to teach the course after running all these businesses. And then I got the opportunity to work with, Mattel's Barbie on the very first live action that Mattel was doing. So basically like Warner Brothers was doing the movie and doing activations, but Mattel had partnered with Bucket Listers, and they were going to launch the first like live action Barbie piece. And I got to design a Malibu Barbie themed cafe, which was so fun. So we launched it in New York, and then I got to do one with a skating rink in Chicago. And then the package that I designed is toured all over the US, and now just like moved to Australia, which is like so fun to see my designs in Australia. And then because of that, I got to be friends with the Barbie team, and there was an opportunity again through a friend of mine from Emerson College. She was the PR person for a hotel, the Fairmont in Montreal. And she was like, hey, I saw you're doing things with Barbie. You know, would you do this hotel room for us? And I was like, okay, but only if it's like official, because now I work with Official Barbie, and turns out they were behind it. So then I built a hotel room at the Fairmont in Montreal, which was so fun. It's always been a dream of mine to do a hotel room. I want to do a wine hotel one day. It will happen. And then because of that, basically, I got pulled into this awesome project at the Atlantis in the Bahamas, which is like the most fun kitsch hotel you've ever, like it is like campy kitsch Little Mermaid on steroids. It is so amazing. And I got to build a 12,000 square foot, like Barbie Bahamas beach adventure with like I kid you not, like 3 times the size of my apartment, like ball pit, like huge ball pit, like ocean. It was like God. Barbie's ocean, and this like bubble maze that was all these gorgeous bubbles that you went through. We built the Barbie boat with the slide off the back for little kids. We made Barbie temporary. It was so fun. And then I also got to redo like 3 of the hotel suites, and the closets were my favorite because like Barbie always has that sticker in the back for closet. So I redid the closets to look like there was wallpaper and like a thing with her bag sitting there and like her sandals and her cell phone and like all her stuff for the beach. It was so fun. Okay, so then fast forward to now, I basically am doing a bunch of different like fun future Barbie consulting projects. And then my most recent project, I have a sticker book that I made. And this is like, you guys are the first, like literally like here, I'm going to show you only because like it just arrived yesterday. It's so thick. It's like 72 pages of stickers.
My gosh.
This is like a fun thing because, our wine book. So the funny thing about the wine industry, and we'll get into this when we talk about play, is like there's this funny like fighting where like when people have fun drinking, they're like literally playing, right? And like there's all this research that says like your prefrontal cortex, like drinking knocks that out and like allows you to play like a little kid. But there's this like funny energy in the wine industry that's like, no, you have to, learning about wine is serious and serious. And if you're having fun, then you're not serious. And so when our book came out, it's called Rebel School of Wine. It's like bright colored, right? It's got all these like, a lot of times people say that because I use bright colors, like my designs are childish, which I'm like, I'm not offended by that because I think it means it's playful and I think it's welcoming. So you can, sure. But this very grumpy woman wrote a book review about our book. And so with the press package, we sent stickers because like stickers are cool. And literally every other cool press person was making a press package and sending stickers. So I was like, obviously I'm going to make a sticker sheet. And she opened up the review with, they sent me stickers, actual stickers with this book. And it is colorful, so colorful. And I was like, oh my God, woman, clearly this book was not for you. And I offended you so much. But no, I read the review and I couldn't drop it for like a month. I just kept being like, Tyler, come on. What made this woman so mad? And so Tyler was like, okay, I'm just going to put the camera on and I'm just going to film you like talking about it and just let me film you. And I was like, fine. So I like read the review and I like made all these funny comments. And then Tyler edited it into a clip and we posted it online and like 250 people were like, where's the sticker book? Like, obviously,
I want the stickers.
The sticker book, right? Like, you have to. And I was so excited that everyone said that, but I was just like, I don't know. I would love to just make a sticker book, but I don't know what's going to make it like so cool that people really want it, or like what's the thing. And then this awesome scrap and collage sticker book woman who I'm obsessed with, like Martina Martin, and she has the tiny store. She had come out with an amazing collage book, and then she sells stickers, and she did like a sticker anthology of a lot of her stickers, and then she invited a bunch of other artists to be a part of it. And I was like, oh, that's it. And so our sticker book, it's 25 different artists plus Amber, who did the illustrations for our book, and like Amber's, and there's letters. Amber's are in the back, but then it's 25 different artists. So all of them are like different style, but it's all like wine themed. So it's like this fun, playful, it's stickers. Yeah. So I love it.
This is
I'm
the
obsessed.
most fun. Yes.
Yeah. I'll have to send you guys copies. They literally just arrived. So I'll put them in the mail for you.
I'm so excited.
Gosh.
I mean, how did you go wrong with stickers ever?
Yeah. Right? And then that takes us to present day. So I got there. It took a minute.
Yes. And, I feel sad that lady does not enjoy fun. But I hope that she gets your sticker book. I hope that she comes full circle.
She'll love it. As you were like saying like her review and like, saying it like in her kind of like negative tone, I was thinking of it like, I'd be like, they sent me stickers and it's so colorful.
Right? It's been a funny thing in my career. Like, I think we're talking about play and all these things. Like, I never thought that I would like have to go into rooms and like fight for why like play was legit. Like, we got featured in this article in the New York Times and we were so excited. Our PR person was like, oh my God, like you're going to be in the New York Times. And then she was like, ooh, but the writer doesn't want to talk to you. And we're like, ooh, okay. And it ended up being an opinion piece. And it was fun is meaningless was like the headline. And it was like a takedown of us, Refinery 29 rooms, Museum of Ice Cream. And they had like animated pictures of like, it was like a GIF of a bunch of people playing in our ball pit and like throwing balls. And they were like, oh, this is so dumb and meaningless. And like, people just go here, like play and take photos. Like, how dumb is that? And I was like, really? Like, my career is like, I make fun stuff. And then people have to tell me like, well, it's not serious. So you must not be good. My favorite was like the number one comment was just someone being like, where's the Rosé Mansion and how do I get to it before it closes? So like, it wasn't bad PR for us, but like, Oh man, people want to hate on play, right?
Those are the
I know
party
you know it
poopers.
too.
Serious about having fun. Come on, people. Flip the script.
Okay, well that's a nice segue, because one of the things I want to talk about in the context of play is this concept. Obviously, like, we've experienced it in different ways too, but like having to kind of defend the idea of play in like a professional setting, and how do you help people see its value, or do you like not care for the people who don't care, and it's meant to attract the people who already get it?
Yeah. I think what I've noticed is that I try and work in play, but I don't actively use that as a word. Like, I'll basically like build in a game or build in an educational way that you are playing, because that's literally the best way to learn. And you know, like interactive space where like immersive experience is such a overused term at this point, but I think, you know, really working with ways that people are doing things that typically fall into play. How are they changing the way they move their body, right? Like, if you move through the world in one way, and then all of a sudden you go into this space where like you have to crawl underneath something, or if you have to like reach on top of something, like all of a sudden you're changing the way your body is moving, and that's play. And so there are a lot of things you can do. I think in a business setting, honestly, like, I often just don't use the word play unless I am confident that that's something someone wants. I more think of like, what is the play that I want to build into this experience? And how do I just sell people on like, well, this is going to get people moving. This is going to get people engaged. This is going to like, what other synapses in their brain is it going to make fire to cause a positive, memorable experience? And like, yeah, it's play. But like, a lot of people are like, that's like little kids play. Okay, cool. No.
Right. Yeah, it is funny how just like people have that perception of it. And even to say, you know, and I've gotten that a lot too, like about like if it's colorful, like it's childish, or like, you know, you have to be a kid. And it's like, why do we grow out of that? Why do we feel like, and I think about that even when I like walk into a store and I see the clothing and the women's section is all just like neutrals and like dark. And then you go to like young girls section and it's like colorful and rainbow. And every time I'm like, why don't you make this in my size? I would like to wear this rainbow colorful thing.
Although I will say, I think we've come a long ways in like the last 15, 20 years of like so much more like dopamine dressing and like brands that like lean into it.
Yeah.
It's crazy because when we were first starting Rosé Mansion, I realized that like I didn't have that much pink in my wardrobe, and like back in 2018, a lot of like pink clothes was like a bad, like milky, like Victoria's Secret sweatshirt. You know?
Yep. Yep. The juicy sweatpants. All right. So in the context of play,
Yeah.
what advice would you give someone who wanted to turn kind of like a little playful idea they had into more of like a live experience that other people could experience as well?
I think my advice is always like, how do you start small and learn? So like, if you have a small playful experience that you want to build, can you test it out at a dinner party with 10 friends? Can you like, you know, I feel like everyone's office is always like wants fun events, but like doesn't want to pay to plan them. So can you pitch them on like, cool, you have $1,000 budget. Like, what are the goals you're trying to hit? Okay, I can get that enough to align with like what I want to do, right? Like, it's kind of like, how can you test it on the side on your own? And then how can you find something that already exists in your life that you're like, okay, you're trying to do this, I'm trying to do this. Is there like a way we can make those things come together so that I can use the resources that exist to test my thing? And then I think, you know, then you start to have photos of it. Then you start to have people who've experienced it, or even just people who experience it and can give you feedback so you can understand and like get better. There are so many ideas that I think early in my career, I was like saving and I was like, oh man, I'm never going to make this happen. And then it would be like 5 years later that I was like, oh, finally I have the situation. I'm so happy I've been like collecting all these like, you know, magical little confetti pieces because now I have enough to throw and like make a cool thing. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. So that also kind of brings me now. Okay, I want to talk a little about the creative process. So, and I could like listen to your story all day. I'd love like hearing about people's career path, just like where they took it, the different kind of people you meet along the way and how it comes back and all of that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the creative process, so like what sparks your creativity? Whether you actively have a project or you are sort of like in between, what is the thing that kind of lights you up and gives you those ideas?
I feel like I have a lot of ideas, but like I probably will get made fun of by my friends. And like, if you could see the room around me, like I am a hoarder of weird little trinkets. Like I have so many like weird little trinkets that I'm like, oh, but this thing is so cool. And like, maybe one day I can turn this into like, I've been collecting dice for a while and like, I'm confident that I'm going to do a dice, but I think like, I think the like maybe deeper backstory there is like, I love taking inspiration from other things people have created and being like, okay, this exists here, but like, what if you took that to a totally different space? You made it 10 times as big and like people could walk through it. Yeah. Is that an okay answer?
No, I love that. I am all about, I think people who have trinkets are the best people because everyone I've known who has ever been like super interesting and fun, like has those things around them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do you think when it comes to creating an experience? Like what are the ingredients that make it special? Because I do, a lot of people try to throw events and there's a ton of different things out there. And what do you think are the ingredients that truly make something like just from like a mere event to an experience?
Yeah, I think being really, really, so like, having hosted a million kind of events and even myself who's thrown a lot of events, being like hosting an event in my apartment and sometimes getting caught in the like, my apartment is messy. I need to have food. I need to get like the logistical things. I think that it's really, really about like, almost treating an event like a brand and being like, okay, what's at the like core of the experience that we want to have happen here? I'm obsessed with Priya Parker and like her whole book and podcast and like, how do you really truly think about genuine ways that people are going to connect? But I think it's thinking about like, what is the goal of the experience? How do you want people to connect? And then really truly spending a lot of time on like, what are fun ways that you can do that? And I think the other thing that I've tried to do a lot in my career is like, be like, okay, and what's also really trendy right now that like, cool, everyone's really into friendship bracelets and I want to do an event where I have everyone and they're gathering, they're talking. So like, do you have everyone like pick a fun word and then everyone kind of goes around and tells a story of like, why is that the word? And now you're bonding and you're sharing, but everyone was excited to come because friendship bracelets are a cool thing to be making right now. And then everyone wants that. And then they're going to wear it. And then they're going to tell the story of like, oh, I made this with my friends. And so like, you're pulling from pop culture, you're pulling from like what makes people feel good, you're pulling from like experiences that are going to connect people. But I think it's really about like not getting stuck in the logistics of people arrive at 3:30, there's going to be a canapé and a cocktail hour, and then we're going to do this. It's really thinking about like, okay, what do I want to happen? So maybe then I'm going to change the whole organization of the event to really create interaction between people.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's perfect. And it makes total sense because I think sometimes, at least I know I'm guilty of this on a very small scale of like throwing my daughter's birthday party and stuff. But you get caught up in sort of the things that are like expected. And it's like, okay, I need X, Y, Z. But I also like, want it to be I always want it to be different and I don't want it to just be the same. So I'm constantly like thinking, okay, like how can I put a spin on it? But inevitably it always starts with like, okay, what are the basic things that like need to happen? Is it food? Is it an activity? It's, those things.
Yeah. But it's also like what brings you joy, right? Like no offense to your daughter, I'm assuming she's fairly young. And so like, this is equal parts about you, right? Yep. And so it's like, what is going to make the experience fun for you? Is that tagging in 2 or 3 friends so that you're not stressed out? Is that like really leaning into the cake and the decor? Cause like, that's what makes you happy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. in terms of like actually putting on an event, so are you more of kind of like the creative mastermind? I think from what you've said, I think you kind of have had your hand in everything, but when you're like creating a big experience now, how much involved are you in like the actual like making of the things? Or are you kind of coordinating other people, or is it a mix of both? I'm just curious about how that process happens.
I've kind of found that my sweet spot is either being like creative director, executive producer, that like I come up with a vision, I pull in the team, and I get it launched, and then which I've been really fortunate to get to work on a bunch of projects, and then I get to walk away, which is like, I always thought that I would never like that. And there are parts that I don't like because sometimes when I walk away, they don't do the thing how I would have done it. And I'm like, but no, it's not. It's fun for people. I get that was a lot of work that I made, but like, but it's also really nice to get to walk away and then just get to work on another project. Or I then stay involved and I'm like running the day-to-day operations. But to your point, I'm really like coming up with a big picture vision. And then I have a lot of artists that I work with and pull in. So like the sticker book, for example, like I helped design the cover, but I worked with an amazing designer, Annika of Dirty Bandits, who like I've worked with a ton, and like all the artists designed their stickers and I gave them like creative license, but I actually didn't design any of the stickers. It was more like, I want this amazing thing to exist, and who are all the like fun characters and people that I should pull in and like bring them together. And I provide like, I wore a cape. I was really excited. I'm like the cape around it that like, makes sure all the pieces happen. And then they're all the like shiny little artists.
Yes. I love that. Like we need the connectors. We need like the orchestrators, the people who like bring it all together. I think that's a very key skill that not everyone has. And obviously on a much different level, but one time in my life, we put on some creative workshops. I had my business partner, Maddie, and we did something called Monarch Workshop. And it was kind of similar in the sense of like, it was something that we kind of just started and then it like took off and we ended up doing a number of them. But it was by the end of it, same thing. We just got like burnt out. And it was one of those things like we put so much of ourselves into it. And like, we're both highly sensitive people and we both are very obsessed with like the details and making sure like every little thing. We always would joke, like we would like, talk nonstop for months and like be like super close and do everything. And then as soon as the event was over, we were like, don't talk to me for like 3 months. Like we needed like that time away. So, that resonates with me about, kind of getting burnt out by kind of doing kind of the repetitive and having to go through that. But I do know, at least from my experience, what I found was difficult was that balance of like, okay, it would be great if we all just were millionaires and didn't have to actually make money on things. But like the balance of like, okay, what I put in and like making it a really memorable experience for people and having all those really like crazy cool touches and things that make it unique, but not blowing your entire budget on that stuff so that like it's actually a profitable business. So I'm curious, like, how do you find that balance to make things that are, memorable and different, but also keeping that budget in check?
So I think one of the biggest factors there is like scale. And I think like, this has almost been like a mean little bug that's been in my head because like I said, my advice in the beginning was like, how do you start? Like, you've got to start small and you've got to start doing it with 5 people, doing it with 10 people, and just realizing that it's the 5-person, 10-person version isn't going to be the final ultimate version. But I think that actually it's great because it forces you to be like, okay, but if I only had $200, what could I spend it on that would like not just make it look the fanciest, but like be ultimately the most impactful? Like, is it the food? Is it? And I think it like in the early days when you have to be super scrappy, it makes you be like, but what really is it? Like, why are people coming? Like, what's my value proposition that like at the end of the day, I want to make sure people experience? And then, to the like, how do you make it financially work? It's just figuring out like, what are the costs and like, can you scale it? Like Rosé Mansion, the reason we were able to make such a magical space is because I'd been doing wine tasting festivals where I knew I can afford to rent a venue and I can afford to like hire people and do all these cool things if I have 3 sessions of 2,000 people each in New York City. And so I have 6,000 people coming in just one weekend. And at Rosé Mansion, we were able, like, again, it was I gambled a lot, right? Like I spent a lot of money being like, my bet is that I'm going to spend this money to build this space. And then because I'm going to make all these things that people really want and are like not essentially being offered anywhere else, I'm going to then be full. And I was really, really freaking lucky that like that first year we sold out with 80,000 tickets. And like, you know, it was the perfect storm of like Instagram and luck and like hard work. But you know, had we also did the numbers that first year that we were like, if we want to sell 80,000 tickets, if we sell 25,000 tickets, we can pay for this. We will basically be eating ramen and we won't be paying ourselves and we'll have to like scale back our staff. But like, there's a world where we can like slide through and like not die. And you know, the more tickets we sell, the better position we're in. And then the more we had money to spend on marketing and just like, and also like refurbishing things and making it better. But back to the monster, I think where I've been, so, you know, the pandemic happened and ticketed experiences just like are not the same. There have been a bunch of like fire fests that have like scared people from buying tickets to large experiences like that. It's different. And I also think part of the reason I made the sticker book is I feel like we're back as a culture in like this small gathering. Like small gatherings are like where people want to spend their energy. And the tricky thing about a small gathering is like the margins are oftentimes not there to scale it and then make the money. And so then I think it's about figuring out, you know, are you testing it to then do like a one-day conference? Is doing these events so fueling for you that gives you another 6 months of energy to do something else? Like how, you know, what are you getting from this? And is there a way while you're smaller, or, you know, can you be testing something that will eventually scale?
I'm always so in awe because I do think it's very different to be like a creative mind versus a business mind. And I admire people so much like yourself who like seem to have the magic blend of the two because I think it's very like it's two different minds. And I find myself struggling with that. Like I have, you know, the Confetti Bar that is like my creativity, but then I have a day job that is very much more in marketing and like about metrics and like kind of the business side of it. And for some reason, it's very hard for me to like get the two to come together. So I very much admire and love listening to people who have seemed to figure it out.
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment. And I really appreciate it because a bunch of people have said that to me. And, I think for me, it feels like a puzzle that you have to solve. And I think it's basic, like, I'm both dyslexic and I have ADHD, and I like to think of it as a superpower and as like like I had a lot of trouble reading as a kid and I would like read things backwards, but I think that it's almost like my brain is constantly like, okay, but I'm going to do this thing and I want to do this thing. So like, how do I do it? Can I do it this way? No. Can I do it this way? No. Can I okay. Well, I'm going to keep trying until I can figure out a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think we all like have, you know, the different quirks and things, but it's so easy to get caught in the like, oh, like this is wrong or this is bad or whatever. But I think if we did, right? Yes. If we just like learn to embrace it all and like see it as the things that make us unique and different, and that is what gives us like a special power.
Put your cape on.
Yeah. Everyone needs their cape. Everyone has their own type of cape.
Yeah. I also think like, I think that the word failure in our culture is like a really scary thing. And it's like, oh, you're going to be a failure and like, you're going to get canceled. And like, so, I ran that like locals guide to Boston, right? That I told you that I sold in Barnes and Noble. Like after 3 years, like it just like was not working out. And I like sold the photos to someone and I get to say I sold it, but like I essentially failed at that business. Right. And then I started the wine tasting festival and we ended up getting killed because basically it was like right when the Trump election was happening and we were spending all of our money on Facebook ads, and all of a sudden Facebook ads changed. And like now we know there's all sorts of books about like, actually there was lots of stuff going on behind the scenes, but it like totally killed us. And we had to like fire sale our company. And we were like, oh man, are we like failures? And then I went to work for WeWork. And then I was like, okay, nope, like corporate girly, she failed at that. Like, no, not for me. And then Rosé Mansion, like, you know, I think I look at it as a success, but you could say like, oh, well, you got shut down by the pandemic and like that killed things. But everything I've learned so much from. And in fact, when Wine Riot ended, Tyler and I, who I said has been my business partner this whole time, I think neither one of us were ready to let it die. Like we'd had so many iterations. We'd started as a small event company, and then we pivoted to these larger events, and then we had a wine store, and then, and I think we wouldn't have killed it if it hadn't died. But then getting to start again fresh, we felt at first like we were starting from nothing. And then we realized like, no, we have all our connections. No, we have so much that we've learned. And we were able to open Rosé Mansion and get running so incredibly fast because we'd run that event before for the wine tasting series before for 8 years. And in fact, we needed that to fail. We needed that to end so that we could start afresh and start Rosé Mansion. Otherwise we wouldn't have had the time and the resources. So like, you just watch out, you'll see like things, I'm sure you have examples, but like things will start connecting and you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what we just have to like trust, like all the building blocks, like everything is just a step in it. And, you know, and again, there is no, and Alexis and I talk about this a lot in terms of, you know, embracing the beautiful mess and all that about like, like, what are we all rushing toward? Like, what is the end goal? Like, there really isn't. So like, let's enjoy it along the way and like do all the things. And that's why I often feel chaotic, even when I like try to explain things, you know. I've written books. I have a confetti business. I do art, like, you know, I'm all over the place, and it does make me feel like I'm chaotic and like there's so much going on. But sometimes I'm like, well, I just want to do it. Like, I don't know that it's what I want to do for the rest of my life, but like, I want to try it. I want to learn from it, and I want to do something.
There's a new trendy word for that, multi-hyphenate. Now you're like, oh, I was on the multi-hyphenate trend before it became a thing. You know, it's fine.
It's just chaos. My brain is literal confetti, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
I often say that, and like, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's like the best way to be, because you're like, ooh, this yellow one? No, this purple one. Ooh, this glittery one.
Yes, all the time. Okay, before we get into our favorite part of our little podcast here, just for fun and for play, if you had to design a 10-minute joy installation for our listeners to build at home, what do you think it should include?
Ooh,
I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but
I mean, okay, so one of the things that I love about you guys is like that your confetti is like people can make that confetti, right? So I think you know, going along with the theme of the podcast, figuring out something in their home that they can make confetti out of. And like, I have my disco balls, and like, I always say that my disco balls are like light confetti because like all of a sudden you just have like confetti everywhere. Right. And I think it's like the whole idea of the exercise of thinking about like creatively, playfully thinking about items in your house and like what would make for good confetti? What would be like, I don't know, are you a chef? And like, should you be ripping up lettuce and should you be like throwing the lettuce in the air? Like, is it shredded carrots? Is it like, I don't know. Do you have like lots of handfuls of sequins? So I think mine would be like some sort of 10-minute exercise that it's like, first of all, sit there and brainstorm like what are 20 different things in your house that would make for really good confetti, because it's also a really good exercise. Sometimes people get to like 3 or 4 and then they're like, oh, I'll stop. But like forcing yourself to get to 20 is when you like start to think of like weird, creative, like what. But then you're like, oh, now I have some good ones. So I think like thinking of like 20 and then having to like go in your house and like make it and like, I don't, you know, essentially create your own confetti pop.
Yes.
It's like a joyful scavenger hunt around your own home.
All right, that's everybody's homework.
A fun twist on your like what's making the confetti of your life, right? Like what's actually making the confetti of your life.
Physically make the mix.
Yes. Okay, that's everybody's homework to go figure out what you can make confetti of in your house and then go make it. I love it. Send us a video.
Yes. We want to see the results.
Yeah, we want to see the most new, the most creative. Like, I love that.
Yes. Have to bring back the confetti awards.
Okay, but actually, we can put a little spin on it.
Noted.
Yay!
Well, this was so much fun. I can't even tell you. Like, I've so enjoyed this. Like, thank you for indulging me and letting me talk, like, especially about play. Like, this has really been so fun.
Yes, the other way around.
We are the honored ones here. Our favorite thing, aside from making a new friend of having a visitor to our show, is our super silly segment. So to close out the show, we have some silly rapid fire questions. Don't think about things too much. Just give us your first thought here. So I'll kick us off, and Jessica and I will go back and forth. If crayons had emotions, which color likely cries the most?
I mean, I feel like that's such an easy. Oh, no. Actually, I was going to say blue, but you know what? I think it's gray. I think it's gray or beige because, like, they don't have any color.
They're a little sad. Yeah. I would be too. Okay. Do trees secretly gossip about humans?
Ooh, I mean, they have like that network, right, where they like can connect and talk to each other. I feel like they're probably like, ugh, that guy, like, he's always throwing trash. Or like, okay, this girl we like, you know.
That one lets their dog pee on me all the time.
Yeah, exactly, right? I love also assigning inanimate objects feelings. Like, I think I am all for it. It makes everything more whimsical and great.
Yes. I'm not going to walk outside the same. I'm going to be like, these trees are talking about me.
Sorry, tree. I love you, tree.
I love you. Do chairs have feelings?
Speaking of
chairs. I think so, probably. I mean, I feel like I think a tree has more feeling than a chair. Oh, and now I'm sitting in a chair, and the chair's probably like, girl.
I'm right here.
I can hear you.
I'm holding you up right now.
Like, I don't have to.
That's when the legs just break and it just goes out. Okay, a little deeper one. Would time exist if nobody owned a clock?
I think innately as humans, we're going to find ways to measure, right? Like before we had clocks, we used the moon and the stars and the sun. And so I think we're always going to, because we're humans, find ways to measure things. But it's also nice to like, you know, have a rhythm. But we would be less productive. Which is not, I mean, which just is just a different existence.
It is. Sometimes I wish I didn't. I find that there are certain days, and time is funny, right? This is a side tangent, but like time is funny because like sometimes like, you know, hours go by and it feels like nothing. And then sometimes like minutes feel like hours. But I do find sometimes like I, at least for myself, get so caught up in like the time, like, oh, I don't have time to do this or whatever. But there are days where like, I'll feel like I was so productive and I don't even look at the clock and I like just did all the things I wanted to do when I wanted to do them. And then I do look at the clock finally and it's like, oh, it's only like halfway through the day. I still got plenty of time. So at least speaking for myself, I think sometimes it's nice to not look at a clock.
Yeah, it's nice to not look at a clock. And I think the other thing that you nod on there is like how important the energy you bring into something is and like the way that you talk to yourself. I only realized that I had ADHD at like 38 and only really realized after talking to a therapist how much, because I was undiagnosed, I would like work myself up to be so incredibly anxious sometimes to like, because I knew that my ADHD was going to make me wander. And I was like, if I'm so anxious, I'll have to focus because I'll know that I have to get the thing done, which like, oh, that's not really helping you. Like
causing some other problems.
but I think the other thing that you highlight there too is like flow, right? Like when you get in your flow, and so it's like figuring out that like optimal. How do you befriend your brain to make your brain chemistry work for you that you can be like in a flow state as much as possible?
Yes. I always say all the time, like, you know, because it's so easy to like fall in the trap of like, oh, I don't have the time. Yep. But to me, it's like, it's not the physical time. You know, you can find physical time, the, you know, hour I spend scrolling my phone at the end of it. Like there's time, but it's like energy plus time is always what I mean. Like, just because I have an hour does not mean that that's going to be a productive hour.
Accurate.
Okay, sorry. Side tangent. Go, Alexis.
That was
And sometimes unproductive hours are good, you know?
Yeah, true.
accurate. Okay, if you could throw a party for inanimate objects, which item would be the life of the party?
I mean, okay, I am a Taylor Swift fan, but also from where
You
I
and
sit,
Alexis.
I'm staring at, I have a gumball machine in my apartment that I got from Goodwill, and then it's got like a pink, like showgirl headdress on it. And so to me, like, because it's like in my mind's eye and because that, you know, new album came out, I think that I'm like, well, she's obviously the gumball machine wearing this, you know, showgirl headdress is clearly like the life of the party. She's right at the door when people walk in.
Absolutely incredible.
You're in good company. Alexis is our resident T Swift fan.
I am. Does your gumball machine have a name?
No. But now I'm like, she probably should.
I'm
needs
also
one.
all about giving inanimate objects names.
I'm like, now I'm like, what should I, you know what?
Kitty.
Oh, yeah, great. Kitty.
From the, you know, she's the showgirl.
Kitty seems appropriate for her, actually. Yeah.
I'll send you the song later, Jessica.
Okay. I'm out of the loop, but fine.
Oh, you haven't even listened to it once?
I literally, right before when Alexis and I dropped down before, I was like, I don't know, I haven't listened to it, but people on the internet are not being very nice to your girl. What's going on?
But, wait, if we're gonna come full circle in the quiz questions, like people like to hate on play, and they like to hate on like, oh, well, you know what this should be? It should be this very serious. It's like exactly like this woman hating on my book and being like, oh, she sent stickers, and it's like, oh, this was not for you. That's fine. That's fine. You can just know that isn't for you.
You enjoy your tortured poets department. I was ready for this era of happiness and pop.
Okay, just a couple more.
Yeah.
Can clouds sneeze?
Ooh. Is like lightning clouds sneezing? I feel like yes.
It might be.
So I'm going to go with yes. Because like they're expelling a thing from them, or maybe rain is them sneezing, or maybe hail is them sneezing. I'm going to go with yes.
All of them. I agree. I think it's true.
Okay, would a bouncy castle make a good office?
Ooh. Okay. See, this is really a design question because like how is your bouncy castle designed? Like, you know that you've seen, right, those like huge epic parks, and like if you could have like a kind of flattish area with like some bouncy side features, it could be an okay office, and then you just have like other areas. So you have like the fun parts of your office are in the like more bouncy extreme areas. But I guess like there'd probably be a lot of yelling, and that would be hard to get work done. So it depends on like what's your job.
Honestly, I feel like it would just lend itself to more creativity. Like you could just go take a little bounce break off to the side, come back to your inflatable desk. It sounds like a good time to me.
Bring back the inflatable furniture.
I have a trampoline in my apartment, so I definitely take bounce breaks. So like they definitely are helpful. Yay! Oh, so awesome. They're so good, right?
So fun. Mine is pink, and it's a great time.
What's her name? What's her name, Alexis?
You know, I fear she doesn't have a name, but soon she will. She will soon.
I couldn't find a cute pink one, so now I'm like jealous that you have a cute pink one.
Just add some confetti to it, and
that'll.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. If joy were a flavor, what would it taste like?
I'm going to say rainbow sherbet because rainbow sherbet's one of my favorite flavors, and I feel like then you've got the color. It's basically confetti, but also like I don't know, funfetti is a flavor, so maybe that. One of those.
I can get behind rainbow sherbet. That tastes like joy.
I especially like the Baskin Robbins rainbow sherbet with like orange in it. Yeah,
need the extra colors in there. All right. Well, thank you so much for indulging us. That is our favorite part. So just to bring us home here, to leave our listeners with one last little bit of advice. If you can give them one playful challenge to sprinkle more joy and connections into their everyday lives, what would it be?
So I'm gonna pull something from my friend Rachel Renee. She started doing this thing that I hadn't seen anyone do before, and I really liked. It's like that you make a seasonal playlist, and it's not like a music playlist. It's like a things that you want to do that are playful playlist. And so like in the fall, you might be like, I want to take a walk and like kick around the fall leaves. In the spring, I want to, make sure I am like somewhere that like confetti flowers are like raining down on me. Those are both very like confetti vibes.
Yes.
But the idea is just like setting your mindset to like, it's a new season. What are ways that like I can go out and enjoy myself and be playful, like out in the world or like in my home, and kind of like constantly just like brainstorming new ways for you to go out and like have fun, playful moments. And I really like that her idea too is like, that a lot of them are like less than a 5-minute thing, right? So it's like, go take a stroll outside. And so it's just like little ways that you can like microdose joy and like play into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it.
That's really cute.
Right?
Really cute. Well, I know that our confetti people are going to want to find your playful corner of the internet. So where and how can our confetti people connect with you?
Yeah, I think the best way is probably to follow me on Instagram. I'm just Morgan1ST. You could also follow me on LinkedIn, but it's weird. I don't show up in LinkedIn search. So you have to like go to Google and be like Morgan first LinkedIn. And then all of a sudden I magically appear where if you look at me on LinkedIn, I'm like hidden somehow. They could also follow Rosé Mansion, which will be the account that we're going to be posting all about the sticker book and all the fun 25 artists. And they could follow at Rebel School of Wine. That's our really fun wine book.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Our last little send off. It's finally time.
Okay. Is the top that's going to pop off or do I have to take it off?
No. So we take the top off and then it's like a volleyball situation.
Oh, you gave me like a really good color mix.
I mean, we don't play around here. All right. So I'm going to count us down. I'll give us
okay,
the 1, 2, 3.
Before we count down, how vigorously should I be like pushing it up? Like, is it like a really fast, strong thing? Or slow?
I mean, so it's kind of up to you. The faster you go, like the more oomph she's going to have. And if you do it like a little softer, she'll give a little confetti dribble.
Okay.
All right. We ready?
Yep.
Ready.
1, 2, 3. That was a good one.
Oh, some landed on my hat.
She got it.
That's so fun. I feel like I did it at the monitor and not any landed in my hair. So I have to like add it.
Good.
That's the fun of confetti, right? It like lands on
coverage here.
Yep, we got
it.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining us in Confetti Land. We hope it won't be your last visit. And who knows, we'll put it out into the universe that maybe someday there will be a physical Confetti Land experience.
I'm happy to help you guys brainstorm.
Please.
Oh my God. So exciting. Well, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This was lovely.
For more fun, join us on the socials at the Confetti Bar. And you can join the Confetti Club to receive free inspiration delivered to your inbox at theconfettibar.com/join.
Thanks for visiting.